Now we move to the only thing you can rely on in the Rondo, which is Premier League predictions. And we're going to tighten up this segment. So we've already written our predictions down. We're going to send it to each other. But just a recap of match day 5. Match day 5. Josh, you took match day 5. We didn't do terribly well across the board. But the two things that stand out, I got the Aston Villa Everton game right. I backed my transfer window dark horses. Leon Bailey came good. But the tip that I knew would come back and haunt me was the Tottenham-Chelsea game, where I went, you know what, I just want to see Chelsea lose one. And they didn't. They crushed Tottenham. Adjustments at halftime. So today's tips that I'm about to send you, I've gone with all head, all logic, no heart.
No romance.
In an attempt to come back from this 2-0 deficit that I've found myself in. So let's take a look at yours, though. Predictably, you've gone Chelsea win, United win, Leicester win, Everton win, which were
exactly the same as yours.
Exactly the same. You've gone for a West Ham win. I've gone a Leeds draw with West Ham.
Interesting. I tossed that one up, but I thought Mikel Antonio coming back from suspension tips the scales in West Ham's favour. And Leeds aren't doing terribly well at the moment.
I thought they did all right against Newcastle. I thought they created a bunch of chances, but only scored one. So I'm hoping that at Ellen Road they can get up. Watford versus Newcastle, you've got a draw. I've got Watford taking the cake, only because they were so impressive in their win against Norwich, and I know it's against Norwich. But I think they'll come
Who you
in
tipped
high.
to win last week. Let's not forget that.
Because I have a soft spot for Norwich. But again, this week, all logic. And I'm just going, look, Watford are coming off high. Newcastle aren't playing that well. I think Alain Saint-Maximin is their only outlet in terms of creativity and getting on the score sheet. And I just think Watford have a bit more dynamic players that can get on the score sheet for them. But you've gone for a draw.
Yeah, I've gone for a draw just because I think Newcastle put up a little bit more defensive resistance than Norwich do, and I think Watford might struggle to score more than one goal. And I think Newcastle have always got one goal in them, if not any more than that.
Well, we've both gone Liverpool for their game against Brentford, which you'd expect them to get up, even though Brentford played really well against Wolves. Southampton Wolves, I thought was a tough one to pick. But we've both gone Southampton just because, I don't know about you, I was impressed by their performance against Man City, the way they kind of held them off.
Very unlucky with that penalty that was overturned. There's some weird VAR calls this weekend.
Crazy VAR calls this weekend, and I just haven't been impressed by Wolves. I watched them against Brentford. I thought they laboured across the pitch. And like I mentioned on my rant before, Adama Traore is just not the guy to give Raul Jimenez and the like service that they need across 90 minutes. It's just a struggle to watch.
Yeah, it's not clicking for Wolves at the moment. They're in a really bad run, and I'm not sure how they're going to get out of it because, this manager that they've got in charge seems to be picking pretty much the same team. I'm not sure. Maybe they need to bring Daniel Podence into the starting 11 to unlock something. He only seems to be given these substitute bursts, and I really think he's good enough to play as a starting attacking midfielder for them in that formation.
Moving on to, I think, one of the biggest games of the round, apart from Chelsea and Man City at the top of the match day. Arsenal-Tottenham, big derby here. You've gone Spurs win, even though you are an outspoken hater of Nuno Espirito Santo.
He's not bad. He just
you've done a lot of backtracking. You've done a lot of
boring.
backtracking. You need to chill out and stop backtracking.
He can get results. He's just really, really boring.
I've gone for a draw. I've gone for a draw personally. I think Arsenal are on the bounce, 2 wins, and Spurs 2 losses on the bounce. I think they'll cancel each other out. But you're expecting Spurs to get up.
I am, because despite the result against Chelsea, I was actually really impressed with them in the first half. They pressed really high. I liked the midfield composition. I liked a lot of what Nuno actually brought to that fixture in terms of countering Chelsea's build-up play. But unfortunately, you're playing against a team who can afford to bring N'Golo Kante off the bench. And Chelsea altered their formation from a 3-4-3 to a 3-5-2. They brought Mason Mount out of that kind of inside forward role and Kante into the midfield, and then they just had too much for Tottenham. They've just got more resources at their disposal, and that's why I think Chelsea is such a terrifying prospect this season. Still, I was encouraged by Tottenham's first half. and they were just outgunned in terms of resources. And I think coming up against Arsenal, they might just have a little bit more steel than Arsenal do.
But the last game of the match day, I think, is a great fixture because these are two amazing, kind of improving, eye-catching teams. Crystal Palace, Brighton. Look, I didn't watch Brighton's game. I only saw the highlights, but I did watch Crystal Palace Liverpool, and I thought Crystal Palace looked great. It's totally different from what Roy Hodgson's side is set up to do. Patrick Vieira's come in with this high press and this attractive attacking football. Conor Gallagher's impressive. Wilfred Zaha, as always, is a threat, and Odsonne Edouard, obviously didn't get much love against Liverpool, but 2 goals on his debut can't be forgotten that quickly. I've gone for a Crystal Palace win. You've gone for a Brighton win away from home.
Brighton are 4th, man. Brighton are doing well. Brighton need to be respected, and Graham Potter does too.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of different attacking weapons. They're a really smart, well-coached team who underperformed on their expected goals by a wide margin last season. Now they're finally hitting the back of the net with some regularity. I love Cucurella at left back. I think he's a fantastic signing. And I think they're going to have too much for Crystal Palace.